Cat X actually, same thing. I threw on the Schwabe Marathon 365. It's got a good off-road tread, clinchers only for commuting. So today I'm gonna basically work on the GT grade and shoot. Gonna basically put some. Probably gonna leave these tires on for now. I'm gonna put the Vittoria on it, give it a little tune-up. It's been a while since I touched this bike, and just kind of wanted to highlight the long-term review of SRAM Force 22 with the Wolf Tooth. Now you might notice I use a lot of Wolf Tooth product. It's been kind of my hackery setup for the longest time. What, maybe 8 years, 2016 or so, whenever I got this bike. And like in my previous other videos, I just swapped it out. Actually, I had the 4822 on it. I swapped it back to the 4628. It's not a 30, it's a 28. It just sits with it in the small ring. It just sits more better. Like it doesn't, you know, sag the chain. But yeah, I'll show you guys how I'll shift it up to the 40, and then you'll see how amazing it is to run this setup and on gravel and road and everything. This is a XTR 11 and 40, and yeah, it shifts up and down like nothing. I know the maximum of this is what, 32 supposedly, but just adding the Wolf Tooth makes it go all the way to the 42. It's a lightweight setup, so if you're all about lightweight, this is the setup to get. No clutch obviously, but like I said, look at my dirty bikes. You could kind of tell that I do take it out riding. And yeah, so overall this is the, you know, I'll call it the 3T edition GT grade. So it's got the, you know, Ergoterra bar with the flare. Can't really tell. Back then the flares weren't really aggressive like nowadays. It's got the 3T discus wheels, the C35s. I'm gonna swap back the fork because I'm gonna ride it mostly on road. And yeah, here's the rear wheel. Good wheel set. It's been used like since 2016, so pretty happy with the wheels. So I wanted to kind of show it off real quick since I took it out. Like I mentioned earlier, everything's dirty as heck, so apologize. This is the 48 chain ring with the 22. I made a video a long time ago, but super tiny, super like useful. Only downside, when I did like a gravel ride a year ago, the 48 was actually too much. The 22 was too much. The way I'm saying it is the fact that when I'm like on a slightly gradient road, the 48 was just pushing it, and then when I switched down to the 22, it was just super light, so the gearing wasn't really made for it. What would have been good was this, which is kind of what is being used nowadays, is a 42, I think it's a 4228 setup. These came in the mountain bike group for SRAM. They weren't really popular. They say 2x10, but I use it with 2x11. No problems. The only problem with this one though, if you can carry it with the car, so let me show you guys. The only downside to this is that if you can see what I'm trying to, you see where the spider is at, the 3-bolt spider. The downside to this one is that it won't work on my SRAM Force crank that I showed. This one will work because it's wider while this one's not. So in order to make it work, I would have to either shave it or whatever, you know, take these off and use it. It actually wouldn't work because I think the BCD, the bolt center diameter, is 120 on these. I think these were like 110 or something. Well, not 110. It's something. It's not 120 though, because you could just tell by just eyeballing it. If you look at this big one, you see it's more narrow compared to this one. It's more spaced out. You can, you know, take a screenshot or something and see the difference. But just eyeballing it, it's not gonna work. I tried it in the past. And yeah, so this is a ultra gear, and I like to kind of share the hacks because I know people do mullet, but I believe this is actually more crucial if you can get it right. I use the SRAM Red 10-speed, which can shift this one, like in my previous old video that I made. It can shift from a 48 to a 22 with, what's the thing? Like with like restriction, like if you're going uphill, it'll still shift. SRAM Red 10-speed was actually pretty good for its time. Titanium, super stiff, derailleur, doesn't flex. So it'll pull that chain up, pull that chain down. Super long-term review of the fork. I got it when it first came out. You know, let's weigh it since I'm looking at the scale right now. Yeah, so I got it since it first came out for like, I think it was like 475 bucks or something like that. Service free, like what they said. 2.16 pounds. How much is that in grams? I don't know. Don't have time to switch it up. But either way, it's about the weight of the frame almost. The frame's like 3 pounds. Yeah, it could fit like 40, what, at the time, 42, maybe 43. But that was probably too advanced for me. I just ran 35s on this frame only, 35 front and rear. The fork actually was service free, like what they said. I never even bothered doing anything with it. Just ride, you know, like what it says right here. So as you can see, it says just ride. So yeah, the fork's pretty good. Gonna probably sell it one day. And yeah, that's it. Gonna slap this on. As you can see, it's long due for some bar tape. So I do my quick little wrap, so, and then weigh the bike. That should be it. All right, so the cat comes out to 29 pounds. I'm totally fine with this because these tires are super heavy, and I had these on my other bike before, so I know how heavy they are. But they are literally indestructible. Never got a flat on them. I'm gonna weigh the GT next. So the GT comes out to 18 pounds, the way it is right here. Something about this bar tape that I noticed. I'm using the same fabric saddle, so they're pretty heavy, but they're comfy for me. Anyways, technology of bar tape, besides my dry skin. Oops. This is super grippy, super tacky, so I actually like it. Whereas, let me pick it up again. This one's kind of like, I mean, it was soft and grippy, but then I guess I'll deal with the kind of lizard skin fill-in grip. I didn't really do a good job, as you can see, taping it up, but it's okay. And once again, this is I've taken this bike to about 16 pounds with just SRAM Force stock group set. I'm totally fine with the way it is right now. Like I said, it's got a few things that adds weight and all that. So let's see, 3T edition. Like I said, been riding it like this since 2016, pretty much. The 3T bar, stem, wheels, seat post, like I might have not mentioned earlier. Yeah, with everything pretty happy with the setup.